As a divorced woman, I was at my parents' house that day. I had a part-time job, but I happened to be off work that day. Just as I hoped today would pass peacefully, my ex-husband Ryan and my mother-in-law showed up at my parents' house. Even though it was still spring, they were both drenched in sweat.
What? Why are you so sweaty?
I was surprised. Ryan and my mother-in-law were sweating like waterfalls. Then Ryan, holding a piece of paper, started to speak.
Actually. Huh?
My name is Sally Omar, I'm 34 years old. While working part-time at a cosmetics company, I handle the household chores at home. My husband, Ryan, is the same age and works at a company. Today, I have a girls' night out planned with my childhood friend Tamara.
Sally! Over here! Here!
Sorry, did you wait long? Tamara had already arrived and secured us a spot at the cafe's terrace seating. Tamara, who I went to school with from elementary through high school, is in some ways my best friend. I'm off work today and even got permission from my mother-in-law to go out.
So, is your husband still acting all high and mighty?
Well, yeah, his dad was like that too. We chat about trivial things while sharing our troubles. Tamara is that kind of friend with whom you can share anything. However, just as we were getting to the heart of our conversation, my mother-in-law called.
Yes?
Hey, where did you go leaving your chores undone?
I want to go shopping.
I'll be back soon. After hanging up, Tamara looked gloomy.
Your mother-in-law again? She's too old-fashioned, you should stand up for yourself, Sally.
Well, yeah, it's complicated.
Anyway, last thing. I got a boyfriend.
Oh, nice, you'll have to tell me more about him next time. After parting with Tamara, I headed home. I had already told my mother-in-law that I was meeting a friend today, but she is quite old-fashioned. She's very particular about the role of a daughter-in-law.
Where have you been? You didn't even go shopping, what will the neighbors say? Just wandering around aimlessly. You say you're working every day, but aren't you just playing around? Honestly, wives these days are so presumptuous.
I'm sorry. I'll start preparing dinner right away.
Oh, what about shopping? That's fine. Just hurry up and get dinner ready. Make stew tonight.
Okay. My mother-in-law is overbearing and snide. When dinner was ready, my husband Ryan came home. Welcome home. Then Ryan started complaining as he looked at the dinner table.
Stew again? It's fine to eat whatever during the day, but make something else when your husband comes home. Do you want to shorten your husband's life?
Today, I was just fulfilling your mom's request.
Oh, I said I wanted pasta. You really are a clumsy and incompetent wife, Ryan.
That's true. I felt uncomfortable but held it in. Despite saying he wanted something else, Ryan went for seconds of the stew.
Sally, how's the part-time job going? It's just a no-responsibility plaything, right? How much do you make?
Well, it's decent. I work part-time at a cosmetics company, and my performance is better than that of many full-timers. I kept that to myself. Then Ryan, clearly dissatisfied, spoke harshly.
Dumping all the housework on mom, you live quite the life, don't you? You should put all your income into savings. That's about all you're good for. You're just a low-paid underling, right? I wouldn't stand for that.
I had things I wanted to say, but I held them back again. If I just endure, peace is maintained. Just me. I lead a stifling life. One day, I was shocked by a message from my friend Tamara.
Hey, listen. I'm pregnant. It's my boyfriend's baby.
I replied immediately.
Congratulations. That's wonderful news. Take care of yourself.
Ryan and I don't have children yet. Part of me couldn't fully rejoice because of that. Caught between my child-disliking husband and my mother-in-law who desperately wants a grandchild. That night, in our bedroom before sleep, I told Ryan about it.
Listen, my friend Tamara is pregnant. What? Say that again?
Unusually, my husband asked me to repeat. Normally, he'd just respond with, "Oh, really?" But Ryan was really interested in the story this time.
Is that really true? It's not a lie or something?
Huh? Why? There's no way she'd lie about that.
How can you say it's true just like that?
Suddenly, Ryan apologized.
I'm sorry. That child must be mine. Please forgive me. What? Wait, what do you mean by that? I've been having an affair with your childhood friend Tamara, and I didn't mean to get her pregnant, but I let my guard down. What do you mean? Tamara is your lover. Wait, that's just...
It's late, you're being too loud. What will the neighbors think? At that moment, our argument was overheard by my mother-in-law who came rushing in. In tears, I told her about Ryan and his affair with Tamara. However, my mother-in-law took Ryan's side instead of mine. Well, that's fine. You are dismissed. Ryan, you should remarry that girl. Now we can have our first grandchild. She's much better than a wife who can't have children.
That's so unfair. All this time, I've been...
Shocked, I packed my things the next morning and left the house. My parents' home is in the next town over, close enough to walk. I couldn't just quit my job suddenly, so going back to my parents' house was the best option. My mother let me into her house. Then I signed the divorce papers Ryan sent and submitted them. I sent Ryan an email to inform him, but he did not reply. That's how my married life ended. Thankfully, my coworkers did not pry into my personal life after the divorce. I threw myself into my work. Then, 9 months after the divorce, Ryan and his mother suddenly showed up at my parents' house. With a piece of paper in hand.
What? Why are you so sweaty?
I was shaken, but given the public eye, I reluctantly let them into the house. I was reluctant, but I did it anyway.
What's this about? We're divorced, aren't we? Why come back now? Please! I want you to come back. Huh?
Sally, please, can you come back home? Right? Wouldn't it be nice? Remarry Ryan. We were married before, let's go back to how things were. Isn't that a great idea? I was infuriated by those words. I was the wife who couldn't have grandchildren. I have no intention of returning now. Besides, isn't Tamara there? It would be suffocating to live with my husband's lover and his ex-wife. There's no reason for me to return to Ryan's house, is there? I sharply stated my logical argument. I had no intention of going back.
Please! You were a better wife. Please, I apologize, come back. Be Ryan's wife again. We were wrong, and I regret being a bit mean.
My mother-in-law's words lacked any sincerity. I heaved a great sigh. It sounded almost like abuse. Do you think that's acceptable? Ryan and I are divorced. And what about Tamara at home? With a grandchild there, I see no reason why an ex-wife should return. I'm sorry, but please leave. You understand? We are divorced. If I returned, what would the neighbors think? Please don't come here again.
No, Sally. Listen. I need you to hear me out.
Ryan cried out in a distressing scream. It was an annoying scream, but I continued. What's different? You've been jerking me around, saying this and that. Now you want me back? Isn't that convenient? You don't like that I work, do you? If you're counting on the money I saved, that's the worst. I bluntly aired the grievances I'd never been able to express during our marriage. All the things I hadn't been able to say. And what about Tamara? Did you kick her out? I don't know what happened, but that's a terrible story. Kicking out a pregnant mistress you put in place is despicable.
No! The baby in Tamara's belly isn't mine. Besides, she uses pregnancy as an excuse not to do any housework. The house is a mess, and she just sits in front of the TV all day. She ignores my mom's calls for help. She always says she can't do much because she's pregnant, and she's so rude. If I knew this would happen, I would regret divorcing you. You'll come back, right? That's good, right? We were a couple after all. Well, as they say, you write your regrets later. But I was kicked out, remember? And it's really weird and messed up to replace an ex-wife with another. Plus, we're already divorced, and even your mom didn't want an incompetent daughter-in-law, right? She didn't want a wife who couldn't have grandchildren, right? Oh, that was because I got jealous seeing neighbors with grandchildren, and I acted a bit mean. I was out of my mind. Just showing off, you know. What is that? Please take responsibility for what you say. There are people who are hurt by it. You ask for stew then say you want something else? Even children make more reasonable demands. Or are you and Ryan less mature than children? Well, listen to me, Sally. Tamara is really terrible. She's been splurging our savings on designer stuff every day. She only moves between the TV, the bathroom, or shopping. She even sold my mom's jewelry for cash and went crazy with the money.
Ryan gestured wildly as he described Tamara's misdeeds.
She can't cook, doesn't clean, doesn't think about laundry sorting. Our savings are gone, yet she still goes out to play. I was wrong to drive you out. Please, let me make amends. Your presence was significant.
I can't even bring myself to listen to Tamara's actions. Rather, I think to myself, of course.
Well, Tamara has always been involved with married men. She's been skilled at that since the old days, almost professional. Well, it's also on Ryan for not noticing that. What do you mean, Sally? What are you saying? Tamara was always switching boyfriends back in our school days, especially good at stealing them from other girls, and she's exactly the type women dislike. Well, I used to hang out with her back in the day, but never thought she'd steal my husband.
I spoke of Tamara's past misdeeds as if seizing the moment. She did this and that, stole someone's fiancé, and so on. But all of this is true. I'm not lying or exaggerating.
Why didn't you tell me that before? If I knew that, I wouldn't have divorced you. If I had known from the start, no matter if she was pregnant or what, I wouldn't have divorced you. You were also secretly seeing Tamara, right? Tell me, what were you gonna do about the baby? Were you gonna ignore the child in her belly and live with me? That's the worst. What were you planning to do to that child? Are those really your words? That's because... Please, Sally, come back home. You are a competent person. I never thought you were inadequate. Right? So,
feeling like this conversation is going in circles, I ask again.
So whose baby is in Tamara's belly? How did you figure out it's not yours? Weren't you too happy together? You could realize it's someone else's baby. How did you know?
Look at this. I want you to see this. It's a test result. Ryan pulled out a crumpled paper and laid it on the table. I spread it out. It was a DNA test result. According to the DNA test, the father of Tamara's child isn't Ryan.
Huh? What does this mean? The child's DNA resembles Ryan's? What does that mean? I don't understand how to read this. They're not parent and child, but they're similar? Does this mean a close relative is the affair partner? Ryan, explain this.
Ryan and his mother looked at each other. They seemed to be choosing their words carefully. I'm not familiar with such test results, so I had Ryan explain.
What does this mean? Who is Tamara's affair partner? Obviously, you questioned her with such results, right? What do these test results mean? What's going on? Sally, you know my mom divorced my dad. Of course, I've heard about it since we were dating.
Ryan's mother had divorced his father a long time ago. The reason was his father's gambling addiction and the debts that forced her to leave him. Ryan was a teenager going through puberty at the time.
But you haven't met your father-in-law since then, right? Why is he coming up in this conversation? Tamara used to go out a lot during her pregnancy. She was having an affair. She was pregnant and still having affairs, so we did a DNA test on the baby after it was born. Then the doctor told us the baby might be my brother. Brother? Wait, what do you mean? My head is spinning. I can't make sense of our family tree.
Ryan continued.
So I confronted Tamara. Then it turned out the father of the child in her belly isn't me, it's my father.
What? Wait, Tamara's affair partner is your father? How could such a coincidence happen? So this DNA similarity means you and the baby are half-brothers? I looked over the test results again. It seemed too absurd to be true.
When I confronted Tamara, my father's name came up, and I checked with him directly. Then he admitted it. My child, no doubt, we've been together for so long. Really, he needs to stop being so reckless with an affair child.
So, Tamara was dating my father while unknowingly being married to his son, and on top of that, she was cuckolding, which is just an incredible story. It's like the worst twist of fate. Now I finally understand what you mean by siblings. They're half-siblings after all. I was beyond astonished, utterly dumbfounded. It's like fiction. Perfect as a made-up story. I can't believe this is actually happening. So, what about Tamara? Did you kick her out of the house? She still has a baby, right? Given the circumstances, isn't kicking her out a bit harsh? I unleashed my genuine thoughts. You didn't get her pregnant, but you were in love, right? It could have been your child, right? Shouldn't you be running around making amends too? It's unfair to leave it all on Tamara just because you sowed the seeds.
But she doesn't do any housework at all, she dumps it all on my mom. There's a pile of designer stuff at home, honestly, she's just not a decent woman. On the other hand, Sally, who can do both housework and her job well, is my ideal. I realized you're the one for me. I'll apologize and do anything, so please come back. Don't be stubborn, just come back to me.
Ryan pleaded. It felt like he was treating me as a convenience. His mother nodded and trembled, perhaps pretending to cry. But my heart remained unmoved. I followed my heart. But I'm divorced now, so it doesn't concern me. I spoke coldly and firmly, yet Ryan and his mother were persistently nagging.
Sally, please come back. I want to do the housework together. I can't do it alone anymore. My body isn't what it used to be, and I don't have a driver's license, so I can't drive. Sally, I finally realized what a wonderful wife you are. Please, I apologize for everything.
His mother started to sob. But I'm not naive enough to fall for that act. You prefer Tamara, don't you? That's why I was kicked out. And now you come back to me because of what? How selfish. Well, I do feel some sympathy when I hear that the grandchild turns out to be my son's sibling. But the fact remains that you and Ryan drove me out. Isn't that right? There's no such thing as a wife who can't cook properly. If I rush home because I need to go shopping, I end up not shopping. You're mocking people, and it's nasty, right? Isn't it?
So well.
Please just go. Don't involve me in your affairs anymore. I really hate you all. You're presumptuous and truly infuriating. I know if I returned home, you'd just boss me around again. It's clear as day. I'm not a maid. Now, please leave. I called my mother from the next room, where she had been quietly listening, and together we kicked Ryan and his mother-in-law out. Even my usually gentle mother was furious.
How dare you treat my daughter like this? She will never return to your house again. Don't come here ever again. Next time, I'll call the police.
Ryan and his mother scattered like spiders when my mother yelled at them. I thanked my mother. Mom, thank you. You really are dependable. People who don't think of others as humans really are the worst. Dad is decent at least. I hate that kind of behavior. My mother and I entered the house, venting about the in-laws. But it didn't end there. I received a call from an unknown number on my phone. Since Ryan and his mother were just here, I wondered who it could be. Hello? Good evening, is this Sally? Who is this? A man's voice I didn't recognize spoke. When I thought I had no idea who it could be, the man spoke. I'm Ryan's father. Hearing this, I couldn't hide my surprise. Why is he calling me? How does he know my number? Who gave it to him? My mind was filled with question marks. Speaking soothingly, Ryan's father, a stranger to me, began to speak. Hey, do you know where Tamara is? You're Ryan's wife and Tamara's friend, right? Have you been in touch? You know where she is, right? Just tell me a little bit. I'm not in contact with Tamara. I don't know how you got my number, but please leave me alone. I have cut ties with your son. Don't be like that, come on, don't be mean. Just tell me a little bit. She has a child, she can't be alone, right? You'll tell me, won't you? The unnervingly soothing tone in his voice both frightened and alarmed me. Hey, Tamara is at that house, isn't she? Tell me, I'm about to go bankrupt, so just give me the address. I'm coming over now. The eerie voice of my father-in-law sent chills down my spine. Despite it being sudden, his demeanor was intrusive and creepy. This guy seems like the type who could easily become a stalker. If he keeps this up, I won't be able to cope. I need to cut ties immediately. I don't know anything. I am not involved. Don't be like that, don't be mean, my dear Sally. Come on, it's okay. In my mind, I screamed and rejected the clingy father-in-law's requests.
He's not here. Don't ever call again. Your son got his wife pregnant and you don't even apologize? Stay out of my life.
I hung up the phone abruptly. That was all I could do. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Only a sense of disgust remained. As I was about to block the father-in-law's number on my phone, I received a call from Tamara. I hesitated, but eventually, I answered. Tamara? On the other end, Tamara was sobbing. Tamara? Why was my partner Ryan's father? You knew, didn't you? Why didn't you tell me? It was an incredibly selfish statement. Even I was taken aback. Listen, I didn't know, okay? You get involved with someone else's husband and don't apologize? Isn't that too much? I'm divorced, why don't you discuss it with Ryan?
You liar! I thought you had no friends, so I befriended you. If it weren't for me, you'd be all alone by now. I helped you get this far.
Her words seemed delusional to me, and I was even more repulsed.
Hey, what should I do? The baby's already born, and I have no one else to rely on. We're friends, right? Important friends.
Well, I guess I'm not your friend anymore then.
What? Huh? What?
I have my own place and other friends. I don't need a delusional woman who thinks she has no one else. Don't ever call me again. You're like a thief cat. And yeah, there are plenty of people who dislike you, so have a great life making enemies everywhere.
Please, don't abandon me. I've been disowned by my own family, and I really don't know how to raise this child. If there's something you don't like about me, just say it. I'll fix it, really. Don't abandon me, help me. You're supposed to help me, we're friends, right?
I don't understand people who steal from others, those with infidelity issues. It's not that you're abandoning me, I'm abandoning you. Do you understand? Do you know how many of my friends have cried because you took their boyfriends? It's just too much trouble. I don't want to be parasitized by you anymore, so I'm cutting ties.
Please help, I'm really sorry. I won't be selfish anymore, so don't abandon me.
Oh, and by the way, Ryan's father called. He's looking for Tamara, why don't you meet him? That might settle things. The child will be Ryan's sibling, right? Isn't that what you wanted?
I don't want a father who's covered in debts. I didn't know Ryan's father was almost sold off by some weird organization to pay off his debts. Please, hide me. We're friends, right?
I felt no need to be further troubled by Tamara's selfishness. Even a 5-year-old would have more reasonable demands than Tamara, who, despite her age, doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to hang up now. Take care.
Please! If you hang up now, I'll go to your parents' house.
That was clearly a threat. It was such a cowardly tactic that I even lost my temper. You wouldn't dare, would you? But if you cut ties, then at your parents' house. I could sue you for damages, you know.
What?
Because you slept with someone else's husband. Enough with your threats,
if you come to my house, I'll sue you for damages. Make sure you never come. You understand what this means, right? Don't be so mean, help me.
Feeling that there was no end to this, I hung up on Tamara. I don't feel like I've lost a friend. Rather, I was relieved to have shaken off her grasping hands. In reality, there are many women who despise and consider Tamara an enemy. Unaware of this, Tamara is too childish, and her adult appearance belies a juvenile mind, which makes me not want to talk to her. After that, I became a free woman. Since then, I have not received any contact from Ryan, his mother, his father, or Tamara. Are you a full-time employee?
Yes, that's right, I'd really like you to work for us.
It was a sudden offer. Having worked as a part-time employee at a cosmetics company, where I was recognized for my excellence, they now wanted me to be a full-time employee. I have qualifications from a makeup and beauty school, making me an invaluable asset to the cosmetics company. I decided to work as a full-time employee at the cosmetics company. I'm not that young, but I'm certainly not too old either. For my future life, it's time to forget the past and start anew. I was assigned to the product development department. I continuously proposed and developed makeup and beauty products, which have now become a huge hit under the name Sally. These products are especially popular among students and young professionals interested in makeup. Sometimes, I go out to the makeup sites to conduct research. I study the trends and develop products that catch the wave of the current fashion. Riding the wave of the times, I fully utilized my knowledge. Since then, I haven't been in contact with Ryan, his mother, his father, or Tamara. I don't know what happened to them afterward. But well, it's none of my business anymore, and today, as always, I head to the product development department. Sometimes, I'm featured in magazines. What is the secret to your success, Sally? Well, it's important to cherish your colleagues and incorporate both good and bad feedback. Sometimes, painful feedback sparks development, so we value opinions from both the field and behind the scenes. That is surely the key to successful development. I remain out of the public eye, becoming famous only by name. Sometimes, I receive supportive emails from former seniors saying they use my products. Then one day, I heard news on the TV that made me doubt my ears. It was news that Tamara had been arrested for inappropriate actions towards her child. The child was taken into protective custody by the Child Welfare Services. Tamara looked much older in the news footage. The TV constantly aired Tamara's misdeeds. People testified about Tamara's daily behavior.
Leaving her child alone in the house. I had my boyfriend stolen by her in school. I always thought it would end like this.
I felt no sympathy for Tamara. I even turned away journalists who came to interview me about Tamara. It's all over. I'm living life my way. That's enough for me. And now, I'm planning to remarry someone I love. We're not having a wedding, but we plan to live quietly. I will not walk the path Tamara did, nor do I want to. I don't want to engage in such behavior as going after someone else's husband. Hearing that Tamara was arrested, I actually felt relieved. The thought of being cheated on again was nerve-wracking. But now, I have no such worries. This is how I became happy.